Okay, I think we can get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Violetta Lara. I'm one of the career educators here at St. Thomas in the Career Development Center. I am excited to talk to you this morning about your kiddos and their time here at St. Thomas and the perspective of career. So I want to talk a bit about what career services has to offer in general and how we support students across their academic career here, but also beyond, and then really focusing on the first year experience of what are some tidbits that are important for you to recognize as they're entering into the college environment, what are some ways they can get involved, pay attention, and really see how they can start building upon experiences for them to feel really prepared when they graduate from St. Thomas. So when they enter here, they're definitely in a phase of exploration, figuring out what they want to study, what types of careers might align or maybe not align at all with the area of study that they are pursuing. So whether they have a particular goal in mind, aspirations of a particular career track or major, or if they have no idea, we are here to support them with tools, resources, conversations to be had around really figuring out what that means and looks like to them. So we do a lot of personalized one-on-one appointments. We do workshops, presentations. We're incorporated in the classrooms and the curriculum so that students across the board are receiving career advice, career planning, experiences that are really going to help them build the skills and awareness as to what does it mean to be involved in the workforce when they graduate. Really trying to have as much engagement as possible, whether it's internships, volunteering, being involved in clubs and organizations. We have really strong ties where student leaders are bringing in employers, having them come and talk to them about their company, what types of roles are available with that company. For example, I work primarily with the STEM students. We do have career educators that align with different schools and different programs. So when I'm asked to meet with, for example, Computer Science Club, I'm talking to them about resume building. I am giving them suggestions and referrals to different employers or maybe alumni to come and speak to the students in the club around what do careers look like in computer science? What does it mean? What does it look like in the day-to-day for someone that works in cybersecurity or perhaps software development, right? So really having them have those touch points for real experiences, hearing perspectives, and also getting in touch with people that might be able to support them in their internship or job search. Jumping around here a little bit. So again, we are trying to incorporate as much engagement across the board, starting from the first day that they attend St. Thomas. The first year experience course that every first year takes has career modules integrated. So I'll be talking a little bit about that later, about assessments. Really digging into what their interests are, what their values are, what drives them, and connecting that to different career matches. How to create a breadth of what those opportunities are and then begin narrowing, understanding that there are a variety and not maybe just one or two that they came in with in their heads. What's another great access tool is our alumni. So we have a heavy community of alumni that are always wanting to give back to the institution and specifically working with our undergrad population. So we have specific staff members in our office that try to tie as many connections, direct referrals. We have St. Thomas Connect, which I'll also talk about in a little bit, platforms for easy access to engaging with our alumni. Oh, please know that at any point, if you have questions, you can let me know. I love when there's engagement during, but there'll be time at the end for questions as well. So, through national research, we have identified that there are 6 areas, what are called high impact career mobility practices. And through our programming and services, we've incorporated these areas to make sure that students are having these practices, are developing skills in these areas and having all these touch points. So starting, like I mentioned, from the first year experience, being able to start talking about and planning out what a career plan might look like for them. and understanding that it can evolve, it will change through classes. They will have experiences where maybe they're recognizing whether it's skills or just interests are shifting. They might take on some shadow opportunities, talk to different alumni, where again they're learning and building to get a better sense of what that plan might look like for them. Networking, internship experience, research, again, all of these touch points we are incorporating, building awareness, and across the university it's integrated into curriculum. And this is why we do this. Here we have results from the 2021 class, sorry. 2021, there we go, that's easier to say for me. 2021 class who had just recently graduated, identifying that we have almost to 100% who have engaged in internships. We want that to be 100%, and our ultimate goal right now, that's one high impact mobility practice. We want to see 3 for each student at least. So again, we are rigorously involved in planning and involved in your students' engagement here on campus to make sure that they have as much ample opportunity to practice these skills and develop this knowledge. So some resources, some touch points that might be good for you to be aware of and to know, to bring to your child, that there are resources, whether it is coming to our office or engaging in elsewhere. Like I said, we are across the university and engaging in classrooms. We have a central unit of a department, but a lot of our model is also to be in the spaces with faculty and in the common spaces of classrooms. So for example, I have a separate office where all the other STEM faculty are, so that I am easy access for them to consult and engage with the faculty, but also have my own office hours over there so that students who have classes in the science buildings can come see me versus traveling to a different building to find me. So this particular example of a resource is access to online resources. This is a generation where they heavily rely on technology and being very independent, being able to find information. So being able to put all things that we talk about onto our webpage for them to access, whether they're videos, articles, breakdowns of a lot of engagement that they could be practicing early on. For example, resume building. We encourage first semester to start building one. They might already have one, whether they started that in high school, getting some feedback and support from family or friends, which is really awesome. But really being able to structure that and really get it prepared for what it looks like as a first year in college. And then recognizing maybe it's going to look different as they go into junior year for preparing for those internships. So tailoring it more specifically to an academic focus. So we do have a lot of great resources that are targeted to the different stages and beyond, recognizing again we support our graduate and alumni populations. Our services are lifelong. Handshake. Handshake is a platform that is going to be an all-access tool for your student. It has, number one, a lot of it is known for job and internship search. So it is a job board posting, but it also is a way for individuals to create appointments to meet with us one-on-one, look for workshops, presentations, whether they're in-house, meaning they're coming from our office, or maybe on campus, but also external. So we have a lot of employers that might be hosting virtual or in-person events that might be off campus, whether it's with their company or like a public location like the convention center for job fairs, larger events. So easy access to find opportunities for them to learn more or engage directly in those types of conversations for growing opportunity, whether it's that networking, referral building, job search, or information learning. What else can I say? What I really like about Handshake from my personal perspective as a career educator is that it's very student friendly. All of our tools are some things, if you're familiar with LinkedIn or if you're, well, I would actually want to compare it to Indeed. Indeed if you're looking for a job, you see a job posting and you want to do that referral process, or you want to try to find a contact person, everything is so automated now. Everything is just a piece of paper, you apply externally online. There's very little engagement with a person-to-person a lot of the time. And you don't always get contact information. And Handshake, we make it easy to have a contact person, whether it's a large organization, for example, 3M, where there's an actual HR rep. You can message them, they can see that, they can have conversation. Or a small company where the CEO, or if it is the direct hiring manager, they can have direct conversation on Handshake to inquire further, to express interest, show enthusiasm for applying for that opportunity. So that's just one small feature that is really, really cool, and being able to get reviews and see about peers that may have gone through that organization to see some of those reviews or feedback about them. Let's see. Yeah. And then there is St. Thomas Connect is another large piece of our engagement. St. Thomas Connect is a smaller version of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is that global platform to reach out and connect with anyone. St. Thomas Connect is going to be specifically tied to our alumni population here at this institution. If you are a Tommy and you have not joined, please feel free to scan the QR code to join. But what this platform is, again, student-friendly, really nice to access information like you would on LinkedIn in terms of learning about the individual, their experiences, but it also touches on how can that alumni support you? What types of topics do they have proficiency or competency in, whether it is content driven, meaning if they're marketing focused, or maybe perhaps their background in academics was psychology or social justice, whether they have acknowledged that they're willing to engage in mentoring, or perhaps supporting in job search or informational interviewing. The person on the other end gets to indicate how they can best support your student or the person who's trying to inquire further. And the same with the student. When they sign up, they get to highlight and say, what are you hoping to use this platform for? Who are you hoping to be connected with? And so strongly trying to make those ties and connections. The other neat feature of this platform is that it doesn't require any personal contact information to be shared. So everything is done through the platform to be able to do direct messaging, phone calls, video calls. If they choose to take it off-site, whether meet in person or share, go beyond into a mentorship, that's totally up to that dynamic. But again, there's a lot of great structure. There are a lot of templates to help support how do you even start that conversation when you reach out around how to begin engaging with alumni in that professional forum, making asks. What are you trying to inquire? Okay. So I've already touched on a few of these resources, but specifically, again, referring back to the exploration phase. First year experience, your student will have a module that's focused on career. Pathway U is one of our strongest assessments that we have all students take to be able to do that inquiry of what are your interests, what are your values, and then how do we draw direct connections to different career matches. Part of my educating is really having them, again, understand what is that variety. Maybe are there things they're not paying attention to? How do we align that to perhaps different academic programs that they're inquiring, especially if they have particular goals in mind, careers, but not necessarily sure how to draw a connection to what areas of study that might relate to. So that's something to be aware of, is that every one of them will be taking this, and you could always ask them and say, hey, I heard that you took Pathway U. Let's bring up those results. I'd love to see it. You could even take it if you wanted to as well. But it can be a really great conversation to say, what surprised you when you were looking at that? Did you see anything that stood out to you? Anything that, because a lot of time when I'm talking to students, they tend to say, I felt reassured. What I was thinking is coming up for me. But I also thought maybe I saw 5 that I was familiar with, but I didn't recognize there were 15 or 20. This platform has over thousands of occupations that are being informed and being matched to your student. So again, it's having them learn, start building off that information. It's not just understanding what that day-to-day looks like or like what the general knowledge and skills is, but it's also getting a sense of, well, what's salary here in Minnesota, in the cities, compared to that of Wisconsin or across the states. Understanding what the job outlook is actually like. Is that a career that has high opportunities in the next few years? Is there growth in that industry or in that occupation? Other ways to encourage, yeah. They take it their fresh, or like their fall semester or spring, depending on when they have it in their schedule. Some students in particular cohorts might actually take it in the summer. There's some students that have taken classes already this summer, but typically it's their first year, whether fall or spring. And just encouraging and knowing, you don't have to wait for that class if it feels important to start thinking and talking. I encourage across the board, it doesn't just isolate to our office. I'm always going to ask them, who have you talked to? Have you had these conversations with family? Have you had these conversations yet with an advisor or a mentor? Have you connected with these faculty? So building those relationships, being more comfortable having these conversations around what are your interests, what are you contemplating, what types of goals do you have, the more that they can articulate that, the more that others can support and connect them. So again, part of my role is to help facilitate those types of conversations and get them connected to the right people to continue that conversation. So in the encouragement of engaging, not just with the adults here on campus, but it's also the engagement of upperclassmen, whether it's in clubs, or I do the direct referrals of saying, hey, I actually talked to a junior or a senior a couple weeks ago, and they seem to have very similar interests as you. I will get you connected directly to them so that you can further this conversation, see where they're at, how do they navigate this process, or get ideas as to why they're this particular concentration of engineering, right? Why did they go in this particular direction? Help them get different perspectives to start reflecting on their own experiences and what they hope to do. Talked a bit about the Tommy Network. Again, being supported across the board, staff, faculty, peers, upperclassmen, our alumni network, they're all wanting to come back and support and encourage one another. So I think that's, again, it's a unique culture that I've experienced here of being able to see how involved the alumni population is, which is very, very neat. Especially when we're doing those cold calls on things like LinkedIn and saying, hey, I'm a Tommy and I see that you're a Tommy. Tommies are always wanting to talk to other Tommies. So it's really, really neat, especially understanding that the engagement is lifelong. It's not just when you graduate from here. And the other thing I want to emphasize is just understanding that things change. They're coming in as first years. This is a big transition. They have plans and goals that could change in the next year, that could change in 2 years, or even during junior and senior year. I had a parent actually come in on Saturday during orientation who has a first year coming in, but they also have a junior. And they said to me, all right, we're coming in because we need to learn about your services because we have a first year coming in and we don't want her to repeat what our junior is doing. Our junior is thinking about changing her major, and we're really unsure about that. We don't understand why. She doesn't know what she wants to do. So the encouragement is come and see us early so that we can support those conversations around how can we get you more exposed, how can you get some more experience so that you can feel a little bit more comfortable and confident with those decisions. Not to say that even at that stage as a junior that you don't have it all figured out. Even at a senior year, you don't have it all figured out. When you get your first career, you don't have it all figured out. So just being okay with that evolving change. Their academics, their degree, is going to support them for whatever that next step is. Whatever that next step is in 10 years. So again, the encouragement and the work that I do with them is understanding how are those skills, those competencies, all those abilities that they're gaining, how are they applicable to any environment that they navigate. So again, it's very important in terms of, again, that direct connection to a career, if that's valuable to them. But how can we also understand applicability elsewhere? How are those skills transferable? What does your liberal arts degree mean? And I think I have questions left. Yes, I do. Okay. Are there any questions? And no, too, I recognize time. If you have to bounce to a next session, I will stay after and address any questions that anybody has. Otherwise, thank you for joining, and I'm excited to meet with your students.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.